Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. We uh we missed yesterday, but we're back. You guys know that if I miss a day, I owe you a Best Ball Mania fantasy draft with the $25 entrance, and we're gonna table it. I promise you, we will get to it. But I want to get as many of these puppy drafts done as I can before it fills up. We're over halfway there. So we're gonna grind these. I did two this morning. I did one last night. I'm gonna do another one now. So let's get right into it and get as many of these as we can. I will say I'm kind of excited to go back to a best ball mania just because of the. I mean, you're rooting. I mean, you're working towards a $2 million first place prize, a $1 million prize pool if you get the most points out of I think like 400,000 or something like that. So the money's exciting, but I also think I like normal fantasy drafts over Superflex. Probably just because that's what I've done the most. So I'm looking forward to getting into another one of those. I will say it's about that time to re-up the funds. Which reminds me, if you haven't joined UnderdogFantasy.com already, go on, sign up. Your first deposit from $10 to $100 gets matched 100%. That's free money for you to get into these drafts. So if you were to sign up today, put $100 in, another $100 hits your account that same second, and you can get into 40 of these fantasy what are they, puppy dog super flex drafts, and you have access to I think it's like $250,000 worth of prizes. First place gets 50,000, and so on and so forth. So hop on in here. Oh, and use code FFX54 right there and down below. Name of the channel, like, comment, subscribe. If you haven't, give me any tips, tricks, whatever. So let's see what pick we got here. Oh, but what I was saying is just put FX54 in when you make your first deposit, and it supports me, helps me get in a couple more of these drafts, and doesn't take anything away from you. So just tells me that you appreciate what we're doing here. We are pick 10, which I'm not sure if I've had that specific pick in the Superflex drafts yet, but I do like that area. Originally, I was saying, I mean, I will say that I do like the beginning of being at maybe like the 1 to 3 spot in Superflex more than I do normal drafts. Just because you can get like I usually shoot for Lamar Jackson unless I can get Josh Allen. Just because of my projections for Lamar Jackson this year. So I do like being able to grab one of those super elite quarterbacks in the beginning, but I think you can balance your team out a little more here at the end. So I've kind of been liking that range lately, and that probably should come to no surprise, just because if you've seen any of my other videos, I talk a lot about liking to be in this 1-2 turn area for normal drafts, and I'm just learning how to do the super flex drafts more and more as we do them. So I'm kind of settling into the same realization that I do like being over here. But I will say the drop off after the first 4 quarterbacks is pretty significant, in my opinion. After Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, I think that step down to Kyler Murray is bigger than it is between those first 4 players. Which I mean, you have to have one of the first 4 picks to get one of them. They don't fall. So we're in the 10th pick range. So we're just gonna watch. I guess Russell Wilson went way above all of these 3. You don't see that very often. Quarterbacks continue to go. If there's a situation where Jonathan Taylor makes it to us, we'll take him. I doubt that. So if he doesn't, then we'll probably just end up taking a quarterback, unfortunately. I really do like getting that elite wide receiver, running back, but what you have to give up as far as quarterback goes is too much, because after the first 2 or 3 rounds, it's really hard to get a quarterback worth having. Now, I will say, and I talked about it in the comment section with someone named Christopher in the last video, but I will say if you do want to punt quarterback and bet on Jimmy Garoppolo and Baker Mayfield, I wouldn't blame you. I definitely wouldn't blame you because if Jimmy Garoppolo and Baker Mayfield were on a team right now, they would be going in the same in the first 2 or 3 rounds. One sec. Justin Jefferson, nah. If they were on a team right now, they would be going in the first 3 rounds for sure. So if you want to bet on them, then you can get them at an extreme value, like down at pick 160 or something. And Jimmy Garoppolo even lower than that, I think. And you can get them at an extreme value. And if they do make a team before the season starts, let's just say they make a team tomorrow. Everyone else that enters the puppy drafts are gonna start drafting them like they're a quarterback one, and everyone that drafted them from now and before is gonna have these a huge advantage on the rest of the lobbies if they took advantage of the Baker Mayfield Jimmy Garoppolo value. So if you want to make that play, go for it. I've done it plenty of times because I do think Baker Mayfield is very likely to find a team here before the season starts, whether it's the Panthers or the Seahawks. And I think with the last draft I did, I took Baker Mayfield as my third quarterback because you can get him at a later round. And at that point, you're looking at like the Marcus Mariotas. So I would much rather just bet on Baker Mayfield coming back and being like a Kirk Cousins type of player as opposed to like betting for Marcus Mariota. Because like for Marcus Mariota and Mitchell Trubisky, I have a hard time betting on them just because it's very possible, if not very likely, that their position is taken from them, or their starting position is taken from them halfway through the season from Desmond Riddler and Kenny Pickett. I have taken Mitchell Trubisky, though. I don't think I've taken Marcus Mariota. I'm kind of curious to see what Mitchell Trubisky does in Pittsburgh because he's always been on a horrible team, like when he started, and that team being the Bears. So it's definitely possible that he looks far better than he has in the beginning of his career at Pittsburgh, just because I think the coaching staff there will put them in a in a position for success, as opposed to having Matt Nagy in Chicago and basically just saying good luck. We are, let's see, Stephon Diggs goes, we're pick 34. So I'll probably look to get Tua since I got JT in the first round. I'll probably go for Tua if I can. I don't even think it's likely he makes it to us. So if he doesn't, I don't know. It's hard to reach on someone like Trevor Lawrence. 34 and 39. It's so hard to pick like Matt Ryan when the other people in the range are Nick Chubb and Alvin Kamara and Javante. Like the talent is so much better, but the position, the quarterback position in Superflex is so powerful because it's an 8-person team, and you are looking basically for 2 of your quarterback scores to count, which makes it a quarter of your team is counted by quarterbacks, and it's far easier for a quarterback to get 20 plus points than it is for even a wide receiver. Like a wide receiver is easier than a running back. And for a wide receiver to get 20 points, you're looking at like over 100 yards and a touchdown. So Matt Ryan can, that's why you see those players going that early, is because Matt Ryan can put up 20 points. I won't say no problem, but basically no problem. If Justin Fields wants to make it to us, that would be sweet, but I'm sure he won't. He's probably going to get taken in these next 2 picks. A lot of experience badges in this draft room right now, and I don't know how to get an experience badge, but I want one, and I'm sure you have to have a certain amount of drafts or time on the website to get them. So these guys should know what they're doing, and I had a feeling he'd probably take Tua. Now, do I want to go CeeDee Lamb or do I want to go someone else? Trevor Lawrence. I just don't know about Trevor Lawrence. I think he has a far better season this year. But we're going to go with CD Lamb. I know it's probably surprising. I am very high on CD Lamb. I think that Amari Cooper forfeited like 150 targets in a season. So that's going to get picked up partially by CD Lamb, which is why I am high on him, and I know my pick is going to be coming up here again soon. If I get Trevor Lawrence, great. If I don't, I'll probably go with Matt Ryan. Because I do think you want to grab at least one quarterback in the first 3 rounds. And I mean, if you're not betting on Baker Mayfield or Jimmy Garoppolo, just take two quarterbacks, at least two quarterbacks in the first 3 rounds. So we will go with Trevor Lawrence now. I think that Matt Ryan probably has better passing stats than Trevor Lawrence does, but excuse me, but Trevor Lawrence can use his legs a little bit. I know Trevor Lawrence's stats and play was pretty abysmal last year, but I'm still bought into the talent, and I don't think it can be I don't think it can be overlooked that they were working with possibly the worst head coach in NFL history last year in Urban Myers. I mean, this guy was trying to avoid underage. He had videos of him out at clubs like with underage girls and during the season while he should have been actually putting an effort in. And imagine how that translated to the locker room and the playbook, which probably the translation is little to none as far as what he contributed. So I think that they put Trevor Lawrence in a lot better of a situation this year as far as scheming goes. And I think that they did a lot in the offseason, as well as Travis Etienne's injury healing. On the offense, getting Evan Ingram and Christian Kirk, giving him a little bit more weapons to throw to. He's familiar with Travis Etienne. They both went to the same college. They still have James Robinson probably coming back in week 4 or 6. So I think the offense is a lot more efficient this next year, and he does have a little bit of rushing upside. So now that we got Matthew Stafford and Trevor Lawrence, I would pick up Jameis Winston if he's still there. He's probably not going to be. So maybe let's see what our next pick is. I gotta stop pulling this one up. I don't think you guys can see that one. Our next pick would be 82, which I don't think there's a whole lot of value as in the running. I mean, I could go for like a Davis Mills. Like Davis Mills will be fine for a third quarterback option. After that, that's kind of the drop off. I don't think Marcus Mariota plays a full season. Deshaun Watson definitely doesn't play a full season, if at all, this season, which makes Jacoby Brissett a little bit more enticing and more of a legitimate pick now. Because there's been some reports that Deshaun Watson doesn't even play this year, which that makes total sense. The NFL's already come out saying that they want the biggest penalty that they can get for him. So if Jameis Winston makes to us, we said we would pick him up. What are they going to do? I would actually. Okay, Travis Etienne. I was going to say we could get Travis Etienne for the stack with Trevor Lawrence. That would have been kind of enticing. I'm not huge on Ezekiel Elliott this year, so I would much rather have like a Cam Akers, Breece Hall. So I'll definitely let Zeke go. I think I will pick up Jameis Winston if he doesn't get picked here, which he doesn't. So we're going to go with Jameis Winston, get a third quarterback option. I wouldn't have been as aggressive with that pick for my third quarterback option if I didn't have Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence is kind of like, I feel like when you have, I feel like he's kind of like the Travis Etienne, Breece Hall area of running backs, to where like two quarterbacks. Hold on, I'll make more sense of this in a second. Yeah, I didn't think he'd still be available, so we will take Zeke. But basically what I was saying is maybe not Breece Hall in them, but like David Montgomery, J.K. Dobbins, Josh Jacobs. I think two of them equals a running back in the tier above them, like in the. I mean, Jonathan Taylor's probably not a fair comparison, but like to me, Brees Hall plus J.K. Dobbins equals DeAndre Swift in a best ball format, or a Joe Mixon in a best ball format. I think between the two of them, you get a score comparable to what you would at a running back one area. So I think Trevor Lawrence and Superflex is kind of in that same area where Trevor Lawrence and Jameis Winston equals like a Derek Carr. So if I picked a quarterback here, I probably would have punted my third quarterback till way later. But since I took CeeDee Lamb and got Trevor Lawrence in the fourth round, I wanted to get some insurance, some insurance behind Trevor Lawrence. So that's what we did here. And then we're kind of set with the quarterback now, and we're just gonna draft almost as usual. And we're just gonna take the best values when it comes to running back and wide receiver as they fall to us, and then we'll probably look at taking tight ends a lot later. There's 20 rounds in Superflex as opposed to 18, which allows you to get a third tight end and a third quarterback and a fifth or sixth running back. So you don't have to, in my opinion, you don't have to be as picky about your tight ends just because I'm usually grabbing 3, if not 4, and just kicking it off way later so I can get some elite talents at wide receiver and running back. And you only need 2 wide receiver scores to count on a per week basis in the Superflex format. So you don't need to grab 9 or 10 wide receivers. You can be fine with 7 or 8. Sorry, I'm coughing a lot. I'm kind of recovering from being sick, so my apologies. But I'm definitely not comfortable with Zeke being a reliable running back too, and I feel the same way about Brees Hall and Cam Akers as well. So I might go with another running back if we get some value on this turn, and then just start hammering wide receivers. Now, of course, we're looking for any values, any and all values. So if we get someone to fall to us, we'll capitalize on that every time. But the plan moving into the pick is what I just laid out. So our pick is 82. No extreme values falling to us. Uxie probably goes J.K. Dobbins or Josh Jacobs here. Wow, he's really punted running back. He has 0. That's why I thought that. The next 2 have 1, so he goes J.K. Dobbins. He goes Carson Wentz. I honestly want Dalton Schultz, but I have 2 Dallas Cowboys already, so I'm not even gonna grab him. I think I'm gonna go with Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs is probably my most drafted player at this point because I've talked about it before. I do not want Elijah Mitchell or Antonio Gibson or AJ Dillon really even in this range. I'd rather be grabbing some wide receivers, getting Josh Jacobs if I can. And to me, like here, Josh Jacobs and Ezekiel Elliott equal Najee Harris. But this means we're definitely going for wide receiver right here. So we'll get one of. I don't know if I want Elijah Moore or Devontae Smith more. I definitely would prefer Chris Godwin if he makes it to us, but the Almighty Oil has 0 receivers, so he'll probably grab someone here, if I had to guess. He goes AJ Dillon, so he passes receiver again. The Siege has 4 receivers. He goes Antonio Gibson. So, yeah, we'll go Chris Godwin. He's not going to be there for the beginning of the season. But when he does come back, he's going to be an automatic wide receiver 2 or 1. And being that we could grab him in, the 8th round, that's a really solid pick if we make it past the first 5 or 6 weeks without him. If we can split those weeks, get 3 and 3 before Chris Godwin comes back, then I think we're looking at a very good situation moving forward. Just with the quarterbacks, running backs, and wide receivers that we have already. We're 16 picks away. Now, this is also something I noticed a little bit as well. And maybe I'm just saying I think there's value drafting at anywhere on the board in the Superflex. But I was also going to say that in Superflex, I don't mind the middle as much either, because you don't have to weather 16 to 20 picks between your between your last pick and your next pick. So I feel like you can build your team very balanced if you're in the seventh pick overall area. Like if you're in this area, you can really get a balanced team. And we look at our examples here: Jalen Hurts, Travis Kelce, Debo Samuel, Matt Ryan, Jalen Waddle, Cam Akers. Like that's very balanced. I guess he doesn't have very many running backs actually, and this team doesn't either, which is a little bit interesting. I don't know. That's going to be tough to get by because Miles Sanders, like after him, you're looking at Melvin Gordon, you're looking at Kareem Hunt, you're looking at Devin Singletary as your running back 1 or 2. I just don't. I don't like that at all. I think getting running backs early is extremely valuable. Um, and probably a little bit more so in best ball. I mean, in super flex. Just because your wide receiver position it requires a lot less from your roster, being that you only need 2 scores from the wide receiver position. Because the flex position can be counted as a running back, tight end, or wide receiver. Which is why I don't count that into my value when I'm picking multiple running backs in the beginning. I don't count it against the super flex position because you can have a running back score count for the normal flex spot on your team as well. Now, I will say you prefer it to be counted by a wide receiver because wide receiver ceilings are a lot higher. For a wide receiver to drop 40 points, they can almost do that as a fluke if there's like two blown coverages for 2 touchdowns and 150 yards, then that's a lot easier for a wide receiver to pull off than for a running back to rush for like 160 yards and 3 touchdowns or whatever it would take to get to like 30, 40 points. So your chances are a lot higher at a 30, 40 point game from a wide receiver than from a running back. And in these tournaments, when whoever goes from this lobby, from these 12 teams into the tournament, you're looking for the highest ceiling, being that there's tens of thousands of people in these tournaments. You're really looking to cap out the scores. You're banking on everything going perfectly. So I will say that it is valuable. It is very valuable to have a lot of maybe like 5 wide receivers that are capable of producing a really high ceiling in the super flex tournament. We're up again. Sorry, I know this commentary is bad. I'm trying to figure out what I want to do here. I really kind of want to grab another running back, but I just don't think that's the move. We're going to. I think we need a wide receiver more. I don't, especially since I just took Michael Thomas, I don't want to go with this. I don't want to take Chris Olave, and Sky Moore and Tyler Lockett aren't super appealing to me. So I went with the running back because now I'll feel comfortable to punt running back till basically the very end and just kill wide receiver position by numbers. So we'll just draft like on the higher side of the quantity of wide receivers with this team. So we'll probably end up with like 9 as opposed to 7 or 8. Just because I don't think we need as many running backs now. Being that our 4 running backs through, 9 rounds are Jonathan Taylor, Ezekiel Elliott, Josh Jacobs, and Ken Walker. I'm going to say this again, and I've said it before in other videos. Ken Walker has like a 4.39, 4.38 40, which is like, that's absolutely absurd at the running back position. The only thing that makes me nervous about Ken Walker is Rashad Penny looked really good. And the argument against him is that he doesn't stay healthy, because I think in his career so far, the longest he's stayed healthy is like 6 games or something crazy like that. So I do agree that the injury history is there for Rashad Penny, But if you look at the way he ended last season, it was absolutely incredible. So if he's on the field, Ken Walker has a very low floor and a very low ceiling. Maybe I won't say very low ceiling, but he has a very low floor with Rashad Penny on the field. Everyone just seems to be kind of counting on Rashad Penny getting injured at some point. So we'll just have to. I have been taking a lot of Ken Walker though. I will say, have been making that bet. Michael Thomas. I don't know when he's gonna come back this year. I don't know if he plays for the New Orleans Saints. I have a feeling he's probably gonna get traded before the season starts. It seems like there's some pretty bad blood over there, and in New Orleans with Michael Thomas. They went out and got Jarvis Landry. They went out and got Chris Olave. He had the setbacks with his ankle injury. I think he probably will be healthy at the beginning of the season, if not the first game. But I just don't really see him playing for the New Orleans Saints this coming season. But I will say, if he does miss some time, then two of our three wide receivers are going to miss the beginning of the season. So we do need to start hammering some wide receivers here. Like I said before, I'm not really worried about the tight end position right now. I'll probably grab one. Let's see. After these two picks, we're looking at 154. And that's kind of right in the sweet spot of where I want to grab. I want to grab the Albertos, Cole Kmets, and Robert Tunyons. So I think next turn, not this turn, but the next turn, we'll probably be looking at grabbing two of these guys. I might grab Chris Olave as well, if I can, to be honest. Just because of the reasons I was just talking about, and I have Jameis Winston. And if Michael Thomas does end up playing for the Saints, and I have both Chris Olave and Michael Thomas stacked with Jameis Winston in the double stack, then I don't think that's the worst thing in the world either. That's just assuming that Mies does not pick him here, which he definitely could. He's very low and he's dropping pretty far right now. He doesn't. He goes Tyler Boyd over Chris Olave. That's interesting. But we will not ask questions. We will take them. I think we're looking really good, actually. I think we're looking very good. Probably one of the better Superflex drafts that I've done. I will say I have been getting a lot better as time's progressed. I really could go like a Pat Fryermuth or Mike Gesicki right here. Is Kenny Galladay that much better? I think we go with Pat Fryermuth, actually. Or do we go Mike Gesicki? Let's go Pat Fryermuth. The reason I'm going Pat Fryermuth is because I don't know if Kenny Galladay is worth the wide receiver pick right now. I think I'd rather go Pat Fryermuth now to free us up to only go one tight end this next upcoming turn and allow us to go with like a... Wait, did someone just take who I wanted? Who did I want? A Nyheim Hines. Although I do have Jonathan Taylor already. Maybe I don't want Nyheim Hines. Maybe I go Jahan Dotson at the next turn with like Alberto or Cole Kmet. Yeah, I like that. I do like that. We'll just grab one tight end at the next turn, and then we'll grab like a Jahan Dotson. I will say, if you're out there doing some fantasy football drafts, give Nyheim Hines a look. I mean, I think their head coach came out straight up and just said, you're going to want to draft Nyheim Hines on your fantasy football team this year. And they've said before that they're going to try to get him more involved than they have in the past. So I think Nyheim Hines is actually a really good pick in these later rounds at the running back position. He has access to a very high ceiling. We saw it last year because he's so quick and small that he can break out some little check down passes for a couple touchdowns at any given week. Um, so I think he's a good pick. I just don't want to pick him since I have Jonathan Taylor already. Um, I don't want two of my running backs like basically fighting for their score to count. I'd rather just count on everything working out perfectly because, like I said before, that's what you need to work out if you want to win. You know, the first place prize. Now, Jarvis Landry is. I don't know if you saw that. Fucking gnats everywhere. Jarvis Landry's completely off boundaries to us right now. Our last two wide receivers are New Orleans wide receivers, so we're definitely passing on Jarvis Landry. Jamison Crowder is interesting to me, although I've been getting talked out of him more recently. I don't know. I think Jamison Crowder is one of the most underrated receivers, slot receivers especially, in football right now. Wow. Robert Tunyon, Irv Smith, Cole Kmet, and Albert O all go. That's kind of sucky. 178 is our next pick. Yeah, we're gonna skip on tight ends here. We'll go with two wide receivers. I think Jamison Crowder is one of the most underrated talents just because he's been stuck in New York. He's been stuck with Sam Darnold and Zach Wilson's first season. And he still produced on those offenses. And now he's walking into Cole Beasley's spot, who did very well last year. And I think he's better than Cole Beasley is. So if Jamison Crowder's available, we'll take him here. And then we'll look for Devontae Parker on the turn. If we don't get him, we'll look for Van. So we go Jamison Crowder. I mean, he's on one of the most, if not the, it's a very it is a hyper productive offense in Buffalo, and I was gonna say it could possibly be even the most productive offense in the NFL next year. I'm gonna audible again because actually no, I'm not. I'm gonna go with DJ Chark surprisingly, or do I? Man, I don't like these at all. We'll go Hunter Henry actually. I think last season Hunter Henry had a streak of like 6 games or something where he got a touchdown on every single game. I think he's a very good safety net for Mac Jones. Obviously the Patriots' offense is really good at scheming up for the tight ends in the passing game. Usually in this range, I go for David Njoku, but I don't know. We're switching it up. Jalen Tolbert and KJ Osborne in the wide receiver position, I am not excited about at all. If I had to pick one, I would go KJ Osborne. So I was looking at reaching on DJ Chark because he's going to have a strong beginning of the season since Jamison Williams is going to miss the beginning of the season with his, I think it's an ACL injury. And we kind of need a wide receiver to pop off in the beginning of the season for us since we have Chris Godwin and Michael Thomas potentially missing time. Chris Godwin will definitely miss time. So I kind of like comparing. I like pairing a wide receiver that will do well in the beginning of the season with a wide receiver that will not be producing in the beginning of the season. So then, whenever the players in their respective offenses come back, their roles will flip flop. So like if you draft a DeAndre Hopkins who's going to be out for the first 6 games, then you draft like a not Marquise Brown, maybe you draft like a Mike Evans. Since he'll be hyper productive in the beginning of the season. I don't know if that makes sense, but I think it did. I hope it did. We have 10 picks. Let's go to the big board and see what everyone's looking at. What is everyone looking at? What did this team end up doing? A running back. This team, this is their first three running backs. Rashad White, Isaiah Spiller, Tyler Algier. That there's no you cannot wait that long. The only thing that saves this team is if Austin Eckler were to get injured and Isaiah Spiller takes over a bell cow running back role. Tyler Algier is picked in the fourth round. He was not he wasn't great in college. He's gonna be sharing with Cordero Patterson. Rashad White, same thing with Leonard Fournette. They will have roles. They will definitely have their games with some touchdowns. They're always going to have the touchdown upside, but on a week to week basis, I just don't think you can count on these. And the team they built before is Kyler Murray, Aaron Rodgers, which that was the start of my last draft. AJ Brown, Marquise Brown, Allen Robinson, Darnell Mooney, Drake. Like, you don't need this many wide receivers in Superflex. You don't. This would be fine, and it would be like make a lot more sense in a normal draft. Because you have three wide receivers counting plus a flex position. So this is fine for that style draft. But for Superflex, you don't need to hammer 6 wide receivers in the first 9 rounds. You don't need to do that. He should have took a running back in this range. At least take one. Get a Cam Akers here instead of Allen Robinson. You can still do everything the same. Get Damian Harris here. And then grab like Baker Mayfield down here. This guy definitely needs to reevaluate his draft strategy, in my opinion. Jimmy Garoppolo is looking really enticing right now. We're pick 178. Corey Davis or George Pickens? George Pickens, to be honest. I think George Pickens. I've just blindly been trusting George Pickens just because the Steelers know how to draft wide receivers. That's something we know. Just look back at the recent history, at the receivers they brought in straight from college, and they're all bangs. Like they Chase Claypool, Deontay Johnson, Juju Smith, Antonio Brown, like I don't know, so on and so forth. They just know how to draft at the wide receiver position, and I think George Pickens was way more valuable in the draft than what people even realize because his off the field issues had made him fall more than his on the field issues. I think I'm going to go ahead and grab Darrell Williams here. His value fell. So you see we picked him 13 picks behind, or no, not 13, I'm sorry. 7 picks behind ADP, which isn't anything crazy, but I do like going Darrell Williams here. We're done at running back now. And the enticing thing about Darrell Williams is if something were to happen to James Conner, Darrell Williams becomes a top 12 back overnight, and we got him in pick 183. Same with like a Jamal Williams. I've been drafting him for the same reason. I think we definitely need to go tight end next round for sure. Let's see. Braven Jordan. Wow. Hold on. Let's see the big board. These tight ends are going early. Evan Ingram goes. Hayden Hurst goes. Noah Fant. Wow, these are going very early. Cameron Brate goes really early. Honestly, I don't love this Hunter Henry pick. I really don't. I drafted him based off of ADP over drafting the guy I liked more. Which you really don't want to get into that situation. So that I probably would have changed that pick into like, let's see, what would I have changed it? I probably would have got David Njoku, honestly. I think I like Cameron Brate more than any of these tight ends in this round. He went 14-12, but I like him over Higbee for sure, Gerald Everett for sure, Hunter Henry for sure. I maybe Njoku, maybe not, just because of the contract he just got. He got paid, so The only thing that's holding me back with David Njoku is the quarterback situation. Deshaun Watson might not play at all this season for the Browns. So, I mean, Jacoby Brissett is capable, more capable than like a Geno Smith and a Drew Lock in Seattle, which is why I haven't been going Noah Fant. I think the talent is there, but I just maybe you go Noah Fant on a Baker Mayfield team. But yeah, I like Cameron Braid a lot now. Now that Rob Gronkowski retired. Now the question is, do they go out and draft? I mean, trade for a different tight end because they also let OJ Howard go this offseason because they had OJ Howard, Cameron Braid, and Rob Gronkowski. Rob Gronkowski retired. OJ Howard went somewhere else. I don't remember where he went, but I could see them going out and getting a different tight end now, like a Jonnu Smith or something. Oh, they're probably not because Jonnu Smith just got paid in New England, and I don't really know if he's doing a whole lot there. If he will be doing a whole lot there, Jimmy G is still on the board. That's almost to the range where I want to just take the bet. But I think I have to count on. I have to count on my current running backs here. I mean, quarterbacks, the ones I already have. We're going to want to go. We'll go Logan Thomas, I guess. Extremely talented. I just don't know how Carson Wentz is going to do getting into the ball. We do pretty much just want to hammer some wide receivers here to round out the draft. What round are we in? We're in round 18, so we have 2 more picks after this. So we'll go another wide receiver here. Ugh, these wide receivers are gross. Go Julio. Yeah. Don't love it. I don't know what the status is on Julio, to be honest. Let's see if we can find anything. Julio Jones 2022. Let's see. Past week, any news? Colts still the best fit for Julio. If he goes to Colts, that would be nice. Get him back with Matt Ryan. Ooh, that could be really nice. Packers, obviously. I'd love to say the Ravens, but probably not. Yeah. So I mean, I've been drafting a lot of Julio and OBJ. A lot less of OBJ lately than I was at the beginning of the drafting. Like when I first started drafting, I was drafting a bunch of OBJ. I've scaled it way back with him, but Julio, I feel like if he can be on the field, he'll be relevant, especially if he goes to the Colts. I guess or the Packers, same thing. He'll just be immediately relevant for the weeks that he can stay on the field. He probably will deal with this hamstring for as long as he's playing at this point in his career. But we're drafting him at pick 207. So we're really just looking for a game or two out of him. I think this team looks really good though. Very balanced. We have our studs in every category. Except tight end, I guess. But between Pat Fryermuth, Hunter Henry, and Logan Thomas, I feel comfortable. Our wide receiver room is kind of up in the air. I think it is looking very mediocre right now. I would not be surprised if it looks extremely strong at the end of the year, all said and done. And I also wouldn't be that surprised if it looks extremely weak by the end of the year, all said and done. Just because Chris Godwin is coming back late, he could get injured again. He's getting older. Michael Thomas, don't know what's going on with him. Couple rookies. Jameson Crowder's on a new team. Julio Jones isn't even on a team. So it's like there's a lot of question marks in the wide receiver room. So even at the beginning of the season, this wide receiver room might be looking really good or really bad. But I think we at least gave ourselves an opportunity here. Our running back room looks really solid. Happy with that. Quarterback room, I think it all looks mad decent. I don't know if that's a compliment or if that's what you want to hear about your team, but I think every position looks mad decent, which could end up, if we have Chris Olave or George Pickens come out and blow up the league, or Ken Walker, like if we have one of these rookies kind of step up, or even if like Logan Thomas looks really good with Carson Wentz, like if Trevor Lawrence takes that next step in his career, I don't know. This is a very mysterious team. Like I could see this team coming in dead last out of all my puppy drafts, and I could see this team coming in first place in the tournament. Just because there's so many question marks, I don't know which side of the coin I really fall on right now. That was the most wishy-washy take I've ever done, so sorry about that. If you were looking for some answers about how I felt about this, you're not going to get it. You will not get it. I know CJ Osama was on the Bengals last year. Who were we talking about earlier? Johnny Smith. Oh, wait, no. Who are we talking about? OJ Howard. Buffalo. Yeah, and he's behind Dawson Knox, so. Nothing we're writing home about. Donovan Peoples-Jones. No thanks. Laviska Shenault stack with Trevor Lawrence. Deadly combo, question mark? Deadly combo, question mark? I keep meaning to read what they say about Laviska Shenault. There's like a little blurb on there saying he got bumped down the roster, probably to Zay Jones or something. Yeah, Zay Jones, I think. Now we're looking, let's see, 3-5-8-3. I could go running back, but I don't want to. Zay Jones. Let's go Zay Jones. Yeah. Yeah, let's go Zay Jones. Who was he on last year? I think he was on the Raiders last year. Obviously Christian Kirk and what's his name? Marvin Jones Jr., the 1-2 options in Jacksonville at the wide receiver position. But getting Laviska Shenault and Zay Jones, they're both in the these are our last two picks of the draft. But it will allow us to capitalize on a ceiling if Trevor Lawrence were to pop off with one of these two at any point in the season, which is very capable. They're both very dynamic talents, very explosive players, so they can pull off some 80-yard touchdowns out of nowhere on a deep pass. I know Laviska Shenault runs the ball every once in a while, so since we have Trevor Lawrence, we went with that double stack to finish out the draft. So yeah, I think it's a very interesting team. I'm very curious to see how this all works out. I think we drafted this room really well. I think our strategy was good. Where are we at? Right here. Jonathan Taylor fell to us from, he usually goes at 5. We got him at 10. So then we were kind of chasing quarterback a little bit. So we go Matthew Stafford, grab our wide receiver 1 before that drops off. And then, because CeeDee Lamb, if we didn't grab him here, he could have went to one of these teams. Which I would much rather have CeeDee Lamb than any 4 of these running backs since we already had Jonathan Taylor. So then after CeeDee Lamb, we grab Trevor Lawrence and Jameis Winston to kind of level out our quarterback room, and we're done there after that. Then we get our running backs 2 and 3. Then we just hammer some wide receivers and pick up some values as they fall. So I think we drafted this room really well. The only pick I wish I did differently was this Hunter Henry pick. I honestly would have rather had Cameron Brate. I would have rather had Cameron Brate, or I could have went who was I just looking at? I could have went I almost went DJ Chark here. So I went DJ Chark here. Maybe that has Hayden Hurst or Evan Ingram fall to us, which honestly, I wouldn't have even felt worse about them as I do with Hunter Henry. Maybe my analysis on Hunter Henry is way off and I'm undervaluing him. But that's the only pick that kind of bothers me. Other than that, I think we did really well. Darrell Williams is a sneaky pick at the end. He's a handcuff running back that can get some work out of the backfield, grab some solid wide receivers at the end. And I will say, if you're wondering and interested, one thing I really like doing, and I think your best value in these late rounds is just grabbing some long shot receivers, because the other positions that you're getting in this round, like your running backs and your tight ends and your quarterbacks, are all basically worthless. I think grabbing some of these wide receivers it's far more likely that you use their scores and they have access to a higher ceiling than the other players in those ranges, like in these 18, 19, 20 round ranges. So I usually try to grab wide receivers down here when I can. Now I will say Jerick McKinnon, I think he is a sneaky pick with a high ceiling. I think Dearness Johnson has the highest ceiling as far as running backs go in this range. Because you're obviously banking on an injury of Nick Chubb or Kareem Hunt, but I think he's the most talented running back in this range. So if anything were to happen to either one of them, like they did last year, you have access to a top 12, top 15 running back immediately. Braven Jordan, I will grab him in these later rounds. I think his use he's a tight end one. I think Davis Mills is better than what people think he is. I think Braven Jordan is a great talent, so I will grab him in these later rounds. Who else? Brian Robinson has sneaky upside. But yeah, for the most part, I'm just trying to grab some wide receivers. So our final team can be seen as such. No. Can be seen as such. Matthew Stafford, Trevor Lawrence, Jameis Winston at quarterback. Jonathan Taylor, Ezekiel Elliott, Josh Jacobs, Ken Walker, Darrell Williams at running back. CeeDee Lamb, Chris Godwin, Michael Thomas, Chris Olave, Jamison Crowder, George Pickens, Julio Jones, Laviska Shenault, Zay Jones at wide receiver. Tight ends are Pat Freiermuth, Hunter Henry, and Logan Thomas. If you want to get involved in some of these drafts, go to UnderdogFantasy.com, sign up. Your first deposit will get matched 100%, anywhere from $10 to $100. So you deposit $100, you get another $100 in that same second. Use code FFX54 when checking out. It gives me $10 to enter some drafts. It supports the channel, takes nothing from you. And hop in here and, with $100 donation or $100 deposit, you can get into 40 of these puppy drafts. So these are filling up quick. Get in while you can. I hope you enjoyed it. We're streaming every day. Trust me, I won't forget. I owe you guys a Best Ball Mania draft. If we can get, let's set an easy number. If we can get 5 likes on any of the videos that come out in these, because we're gonna stream every single day. If we can get 5 likes on any of them, then we will put the puppy draft aside and get into a Best Ball Mania draft that same day. We are drafting every day, so just stay tuned, hit the bell, subscribe, like the videos, whatever. Comment. I'm definitely responding to those. Love talking to you. Love seeing your guys' opinion. Love seeing what your guys' teams look like. This super flex is very new to me, so I do like hearing what you guys are doing, different strategies we may have. So leave those in the comments. But until tomorrow, I'll see you guys. Peace out. Everyone have a great week.